District 76 Board of Education meeting is now called to order. Roll call, please.
Giddens.
Here.
Cagle. Captain Reagan. Here. Val Reagan. Here. Tyler. Here. Griner. Here. Bailey.
Here. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
In flag location.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone, for coming tonight. Who do we need to thank for the flag?
Three ladies, actually three ladies I had on my report. Patty Smallberger, Amber Pilkington, Shelley, for getting the new flag from the Board of Education room to the Board of Education room from the Creve Coeur Community Center. I think we traded them. I think we traded them flags.
Okay.
Oh, that was very nice of them.
And it actually works out better for us too, because it
Really
gets
nice.
moved all over the place.
Anyway.
really good.
We change it every time you come in here. It's new paint, new picture, new sign, new flag, what's new, I don't know.
At no cost to the district, or little. Right?
Right.
Okay. All right, does the audience have any comments on action items on the agenda? Okay. Action items, we need a motion for the minutes, please.
Make the motion regarding the minute meetings for the regular meeting dated August 8th, 2017.
Second.
Any comments or questions on the minutes? Motion for approval then? Roll call.
Giddens.
Aye.
Cagle. Aye. Captain Reagan.
Aye.
Val Reagan.
Aye.
Tyler.
Aye.
Griner.
Aye.
Bailey.
Aye, motion carried. Need a motion regarding the payments list.
Make a motion to approve the payments list dated August 16th, 2017.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Any questions, comments?
I have a couple questions.
All right, check number?
Check number 19573. Yeah. Is that, did you get laptops? Is that the teacher's laptops, the 33,000?
46, I thought I was named.
I should have emailed you on that.
Tech equipment,
Were they teacher's
Installation.
laptops? That's what I was thinking.
Bradford Community Supply, computer supply.
Yeah, I think that would be the new laptops for the staff.
48 of those, teachers have them on. Thank you, women's group for getting those ready.
Yeah, that's very nice. I was just being inquisitive. I think it's check numbers 19611. It's not that much. But I was wondering, it says Illinois Reading Council. Could you explain what that's about? It's page 5.
What was the amount for the check?
It's cheap. It's $460. I was just wondering what the Illinois Reading Council was. It's more than that. I was just being nosy what it was. Yeah, I'm not questioning the check.
Page 5, you said?
Yeah.
Or, getting there, okay, I'll read it. Title 1, Bullard.
Okay, they attended a Illinois Reading Council conference in October,
Okay.
so that's prepayment for something coming up.
That's fine. I was just hoping that they were like, maybe making a reading council in the area, like a group that's continuous. But that's okay. I mean, that's great, either way, but.
Where principals know where that's at? Okay.
It's a 3-day reading conference. It's in Peoria. Mrs. Bullard and Mrs. McIntyre asked to attend. Worked out nicely because it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Friday is a sick day for us, so really want to have 1 day of subs even on that.
Yeah. I'm just hoping it was a continuous, like, group that we might benefit from. Thank you. That's it.
One payment in there I questioned was the pizza party. That was paid for in full by the grant.
That's
Pizza
check
for
number
lunch.
19618. That was the circus.
Yeah. Any other questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Hidden,
Aye.
Hickle, Captain Reagan. Val Reagan.
Aye.
Tyler. Griner.
Aye.
Bailey.
Aye, motion carried. Need a motion regarding my treasurer's report.
Make the motion to approve the treasurer's report dated June 30th, 2017.
Second.
Any questions or comments on that? Hopefully we'll get caught up. I think it's because we only had the one meeting for 1 month, and so we get behind. Roll call, please.
Hidden,
Aye.
Hickle, Captain Reagan. Val Reagan. Tyler. Griner. Bailey.
Aye, motion carried. Are we prepared to make a motion about the Evaluate program, or do you want discussion first? Because we have several options.
I'd like to discuss it.
We have 3 different options. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years.
Right.
And we all saw the start your 60-day free trial, right?
Yes.
Okay, what questions do we have?
I was asking if 40 was enough. Because that's all they put in. I mean, that's what they put in for 40.
Mr. McCormick, would you like to answer that question?
I'm sorry, I could not hear
Is
that.
40 enough to cover all of the teachers?
Actually, I believe it's 42 would be enough. I think we talked about that afterwards.
So that's going to increase the cost
Like $20.
from what we have.
Yes, it would. It would increase it by somewhere between $40 and $50.
Is the teachers want this?
It is.
But the teachers have to put their documents in it, and they have to put their artifacts in there and write to it. So, I mean, would they have to, I mean,
How much
What-
work for them would it be?
right, and if they're gonna do it?
Are you asking me?
Well, I'm asking Meg actually, but you can answer it.
Well, rather than printing them off and handing them to myself or Mr. Johnson, they could simply go in and upload the document.
But they can do that in Google Docs too, and make a portfolio. I mean,
Is not encrypted.
right,
It needs to be encrypted to protect their privacy.
but you could do it encrypted and just not share it,
Can you?
yes.
Oh.
You could invite people on to share it. It's not necessarily out there for the world.
Okay.
I just meant, I don't, if they're not gonna use it, I don't know if it's worth, I mean, cause they have to, it says right here, they have to upload it, and it's more a portfolio for them as well. And they can put their artifacts in there.
So I guess the question, is it more work for the teachers on their end?
It's a very good question, because we really don't know anything about it yet.
I think on the front end, it's gonna be more work on all of us. I think it would be, but I'm not viewing that as a bad thing. I'm just saying, I think, from an administrator standpoint,
The setup?
setting up, learning the system, and I'd say from a teacher standpoint as well, learning the system. There's going to be a learning curve, sure, for all of us, for administration and teachers.
This is what they're recommending as far as the administrators go.
And they said free training, is it free training for all? It doesn't look like it's free training actually.
$999 is what I'm seeing.
Exactly, and so who's that training for, just 3 administrators? Or is the teachers gonna be able to be trained on it then? If they're gonna have to upload their files, are we gonna have to pay more for them to be trained? Good question.
From the, whatever you call that, webinar we did with the gentleman from the company, the training applies more to the administrators. On the teachers' end, we show them what to do. They show us how to do everything. We then help the teachers understand the process.
So, okay, so it's just you 3 for the training.
It looks like it's $9.99 for the setup, and then we have to add the additionals for the training.
Exactly, it looks like.
So that's
Yeah.
not removable.
I don't know that we need any additional training. In fact, he didn't even recommend any additional training to us.
Other
it's,
points on-site training and, or webinars.
Right, it has that on
$100
here.
ones. Right.
It does have this one live online webinar, $200 per hour, unlimited attendees.
that might be worth it.
Right, because then you could, if the teachers all want to come to it. And some
During
more,
like
what?
like a sick day, do you think?
Well, whatever they wanted. But, I mean, that way, some people are more tech savvy than others. I would have to have someone show me 5 times.
Let's look at that other webinar, that's 4 hours for, what was it, $6.99? You save $100.
That's
like
true, and it's still unlimited attendees.
a limit, right?
And it looks like there are video tutorials and things like that in the user guide.
What I see is we're moving from hard paper to more electronic, so, and like it said, they can walk around with their tablet or something and put some quick notes in there and stuff like that, whereas I don't have my tablet with me, not necessarily electronic tablet, I don't have my little, where I'm keeping my notes, and you're sitting there and you're thinking about something and you just pull out, or you log onto your computer and do it. It's just a transition, to me, I just see it as a transition from paper to electronic.
I'm not disagreeing, we do electronic. We don't do it, I mean, I'm just saying that there's other programs that, but do the program you want, I'm not saying that either. I'm just saying, did everyone look at this program and decide that's what they liked?
This is for the administrators, so I don't know that it necessarily had.
But if it was my evaluation and I have to use it to prove myself, I would be offended, you know, if I didn't know how to use a program.
Yeah, I think we should definitely do the training if we're gonna get it, this $200 per hour one.
Yeah, unlimited.
Is that the one sound?
Yeah. Because then I don't even know how to use it. Yeah, because I understand what you're saying, if I didn't know how to use it,
And
I'd
we
be
went
like,
to, we went to the system.
So
And it's like, no one got trained, it's like, here.
if a
muddle
teacher
through it.
leaves, then would they have access to their materials online then? Could they take that with them? Would they be able to download that material and take it with them then?
They could certainly print it off,
Print it off and
or
take it,
download it as a PDF.
Okay.
and then take it?
But they could download it as a file.
Right.
Yes.
Because that would be important, right?
Yeah.
Since everyone's para evaluation is a little bit different, can you form hours into this? I mean,
That's part of the $999 setup fees, they take exactly
it?
hours
okay,
and put it in there.
okay, so that's all done for us then.
Would we be better off doing the 4 hours for $700?
That's what Andy was saying.
And at least puts a cap on it?
But there's no cap.
Well, I mean, $200 an hour, we can take 6 hours.
Oh, no, I thought you meant attendees.
No, not attendees, but how long it is.
Right. Because that way 4 hours is a long time, and
do you take 4 hours? I don't know. I guess it depends on your, yeah.
My other worry would be, when would we get a 4-hour time block in?
Yeah.
like you were saying, a sick day, if you're already told.
They're probably planned, aren't they? The sick days planned ahead.
Yes.
Unless we could squeeze it in during parent-teacher conferences, isn't there a little overage time there? No?
Not 4 hours.
Well,
Well, not,
I was going back to the 2 hours now,
Oh, okay.
$200 per hour.
You know, they have a 2-hour time block.
I mean, it doesn't say 2 hours, it's $200.
Right.
Per hour. Okay, are we ready to make a motion?
Yeah. So, wait, do we want to do the $200 per hour or the $6.99?
I don't know, what do you want to do? And how many years? Because it changes per You do 1 year,
2 years.
2 years, or 3 years.
It's a lot cheaper with the 3 years, it's like $20 a teacher. If you don't like it, you're kind of locked in.
So if they get it and nobody's using it.
Makes a
What's the
difference.
price difference here? Let's do the price
Okay.
difference between 1 year.
1 year is $25 per teacher, 2 years is basically $22 per teacher, and $3, for 3 years is $20 per teacher. It's on pay.
We'll save about $800 between option 2 and 3.
Oh, yeah.
Which will pay for your live revenue.
That's true.
The only thing I don't like, you have to pay for all 3 years up front.
Yes. Try it for 1.
I mean, that would be my only thing, is you pay for all 3 years up front, what if they go belly under or something like that? You've already paid 3 years down the road.
And we can try it and see if we like it. If I'm here.
Yeah, if we do the training and if we don't like it, then they don't like it.
And if they do, you enter into a 3-year
3-year
agreement.
agreement, yeah. Yeah, I like the 1 year agreement. Cause I mean, we'll do training and then if they don't like it, then they can say we don't like this, we're not using
And
it.
since they don't have a lot of time, I guess we'll just do 200,
200 an hour training.
max 2 hours or 5 hours. I mean, what time do they have?
Principals, how much time can you grab for the
I think
teachers?
2 hours is definitely doable.
Okay. And I mean, if someone can't go or something, it does say it's recorded,
Right, and someone else could help them.
right? So,
Okay, it is recorded.
So we're looking at about $2,500 then, am I correct?
Well, he said he needs 42 instead of 40.
Right, I
So
added
I'm
that
giving
in.
an extra
Okay.
50.
And then the $1,000 for setup, and then the 2 hours of training. I need to check my math.
Yes.
mhm.
Is
It
that
does
math
say-
correct?
Yeah, it's about 2,500.
Not to exceed, that's what I would, okay. Wanna make that
It
motion?
says it doesn't include like hardware and sales tax.
We don't get taxed.
Is there any
We
hardware?
have hardware.
Yeah,
I
we
don't
need
think
the
so.
extra hardware or anything, it's all through them, right?
Mr. McCormick, not needed?
We don't need any additional hardware.
Thank you. All right.
I'll make the motion to approve purchasing the Evaluise program for 1 year in an amount not to exceed $2,500. That includes 2 hours of training.
Second,
2 hours of training, it's $200 per hour.
So that's $400. And
You've got the 1,000 here.
Right, but that doesn't say 2 hours, it's only per hour, $200 per hour. Okay. All right, everybody on the same page? Roll call, please.
Giddens,
Aye.
Cagle. Aye. Catherine Reagan.
aye.
Val Reagan.
Aye.
Tyler.
Aye.
Griner.
Aye.
Bailey.
Aye, motion carried. The motion regarding the fundraiser reward.
Make a motion to approve the elevated trampoline park fundraiser reward for the 2017-2018 school year.
Second,
Discussion.
We are providing transportation, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
And what times are they going?
I got that far yet.
Well, I just want to not get in trouble again.
Exactly. We've got to, absolutely. It has to be during the school day that we can transport our children at normal times. This scares you to death, but
My daughter took my niece.
Oh, it's a decent waiver, so.
Yeah.
There's a waiver in that form in here. I got an extra request with it. That the parent has to show up at the school. And we have a witness. The parent signing that waiver. And that witness just initials it. That way a student,
Double, triple in.
I
want a student carrying in a waiver, and one sign, gets injured, and guess what? The parent didn't sign it.
well, we do that with everything now.
This is a little bit riskier than.
I feel like it's gonna be hard to get parents to come in and sign the
When
waiver
is the
though.
They want their kids to go.
okay, when's the fundraiser being held?
middle October to early November.
So parent-teacher conferences, would that be timely or not?
I don't know we'll have who got it yet, but we won't do the reward probably until January, February. So we have a big block of time where once we know who those kids are, we can harass the parents until they come in and sign it in front of one of the office personnel.
Do you,
Would you be more
What's the date
comfortable
on
with
it?
that?
What's the date on it again?
Yeah, I'd like to really have a witness
Go for
on
it.
this, because the risks are so high.
well,
So you want a witness line and a witness signature?
We don't need a witness line,
Well, the
somebody
thing
brings
is,
it in, I
at-
just
hold on.
initial it.
Hold on, at the trampoline park, they have to go in there and sign that stupid thing at the trampoline park as well. So once they get out to the trampoline park, they have to re-sign that thing.
the parents won't be there.
Right.
This is it.
This is,
a
yeah.
I didn't
trampoline.
read that in there.
This is from
Don't they?
right.
No.
This is from them.
No,
This
this
is-
is from them?
They do this ahead of time from them.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
this is their release waiver, so the
Yes.
parents don't have to be out there to re-sign that.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
But when the parent is present, if they go there and sign,
Well, maybe we'll know at the Christmas, like,
We'll have more
Program.
information.
we'll know who's gonna be able to go and have the parents sign up there. I
and the
guess.
kids will bother their parents to get the signature, get up here to get it signed. I know that you're gonna have people showing up, but I'm looking out for the district. So if there is an injury and a parent says, well, I didn't sign that. That's something you hear all the time, parents don't always see and sign things that come back to school. We have that here in Creve Coeur. So
I was surprised they even have it here, like, I waived,
this is a release.
waiver of jury trial and all this other stuff. I'm just like, oh my gosh,
Yeah, it's pretty intense.
yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, like, if a parent said he or she didn't sign it, is it even gonna hold up in court?
That's why I'm asking you to come here and then,
It probably would. Gotta have a witness.
Yeah.
I was more looking at the last one.
what's that?
This line.
Okay, I would like to revise my motion to approve the elevated trampoline park fundraiser reward for 2017-2018 school year. Amended that the waiver to be signed by the participant, the legal
Oh.
guardian needs to come in and sign it in front of the staff at LaSalle.
Yeah. Or will we accept if they go to a notary and send it back with their kid?
That's
Well,
true.
you know, Greg at the library is a can notarize
That's true.
permission slips, so if they get it notarized, are we gonna accept that?
I don't know what one is a notary.
Cause that's just as
Savannah brought some.
good.
Bring it up.
The last line, it says a guardian, you have to provide evidence of legal guardianship attached with this form, so they have
It says
to
attached.
provide something when they turn it in. They can't just sign it and send it back.
We have that. proof
Oh, you
of-
have, yeah.
We have that on file.
If we have them do it again, I mean, it would still,
Well, the park is asking for it if the guardian is signed, because you're gonna check a box, parent or guardian. And if they check guardian,
Get the
we're
sign.
limited on what information we can release.
Sure.
But if the guardian brings the form in, or comes in and signs the form and gives us whatever they're asking for, we know, the district knows. And the park is assuming the district done everything. But we just don't need someone to say that I didn't know anything about it, I didn't sign it. That's my only fear.
We amended the motion to say that.
Yeah.
Who seconded it?
I did.
Seconding the amended?
Yeah, I
All right.
second that. Wait, so let me get this clear, are we accepting from a notary or not?
No, I didn't put that in there. I said it has to be signed in front of the staff.
Or
Or
the staff?
we can
Okay,
say
that's
notary
fine.
public, I don't care.
I just wanted to know, so everyone is clear. Okay, that's fine.
Okay, so what is the motion?
Were you not paying attention?
You poor thing. Motion was,
It is
right,
confusing.
motion to
Okay.
approve the elevated trampoline park fundraiser reward for the 2017-2018 school year with participant agreement release waiver that has to be signed by the parent or guardian in front of the LaSalle staff,
A staff member.
a staff member.
Does that release waiver signed by guardian?
In front of LaSalle's, in front of the staff member. But if he's over there, that would suffice. All right,
Okay,
Roll
who
call.
seconded?
I second.
Okay.
roll call when you're
Giddens?
ready.
Aye.
Cagle. Aye. Catherine Reagan.
Aye.
Val Reagan.
Aye.
Tyler.
Aye.
Griner.
Aye.
Bailey.
Aye, motion carried.
Well, the only reason why I didn't say anything about in front of the notary, because the notary might not actually know if that is truly a legal guardian or a parent.
Because actually,
Because
you're
they
only
don't really
notarizing that
know.
signature.
You're
Right.
notarizing that signature.
Right.
Because I used to be a notary, and you don't really know that person from Adam.
I'm not sure every staff member at LaSalle would know if it's a parent or not. If they come and say, I'm signed this for Johnny, okay?
Okay, we beat this horse to death. Shall we move on?
Yes.
All right. Need a motion for the administrator and teacher salary.
I'll make the motion to approve the 2017 EIS Administrator Teacher Salary and Benefits Report.
Second.
Any comments? Questions? This is a normal thing we have to do every year. It will be put on the website. We're required by the state to do this. Roll call, please.
Giddens.
Aye.
Cagle. Aye. Catherine Reagan.
Aye.
Val Reagan.
Aye.
Tyler.
Aye.
Griner.
Aye.
Bailey.
Aye, motion carried. All right, we need a motion for policy. Mr. Giddens?
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the first reading of policy number 5:30, hiring, process, and criteria.
Second.
Questions? This was just left out of the last one. Roll call, please.
Giddens.
Aye.
Cagle. Catherine Reagan.
Aye.
Val Reagan.
Aye.
Tyler.
Aye.
Griner.
Aye.
Bailey.
Aye, motion carried. We need a motion regarding the second reading. Mr. Giddens?
I'll make the motion to approve the second reading and adoptions of policies 2:30, school district elections, 2:120, board member development, 2:125, board member compensation, expenses, 2:200, types of school board meetings, 2:220, school board meeting procedures, 2:250, access to district public records, 3:40, superintendent, 3:50, administrative personnel other than superintendent, 4:10, fiscal and business management, 4:55, use of credit and procurement card, 4:60, purchases and contracts, 4:80, accounting and audits, 4:110, transportation, 4:130, free and reduced price food services, 4:150, facility management and building and programs, 4:170, safety, 4:175, convicted child sex offender screening notifications, 5:10, equal employment opportunity and minority recruitment, 5:100, staff development program, 5:125, personal technology and social media usage and conduct, 5:185, family and medical leave, 5:190, teacher qualifications, 5:250, leaves of absence, 5:260, student teachers, 5:280, duties and qualifications, 5:330, sick days and vacations, holidays and leaves, 6:15, school accountability, 6:50, school wellness, 6:660, curriculum content, 6:140, education and homeless children, 6:145, migrant students, 6:160, English learners, 6:170, Title I programs, 6:340, student testing and assessment programs, 7:15, student and family privacy rights, 7:30, student assignment and intra-district transfer, 7:50, school admissions and student transfers to and from non-district schools, 7:60, residents, 7:70, attendance and truancy, 7:250, student support services, 7:260, exemption from physical education, 7:270, administering medicines to students, 7:305, student athletic concussions and head injuries, 7:310, restrictions on publications, elementary schools, 7:340, student records, 8:30, visitors to and conduct on school property, 8:70, accommodating individuals with disabilities, and 8:100, relations with other organizations and agencies.
We have a
Second.
Any questions? Comments? Roll call, please.
Giddens,
Aye.
Kegel, Catherine Reagan. Aye. Val Reagan. Aye. Tyler.
Aye.
Griner. Aye. Bailey.
Aye, motion carried. Need a motion regarding APs.
I'll make the motion to adopt administrative procedures 2:200 AP, types of school board meetings, 2:250-AP1, access to and copy in district public records, 2:250-AP2, protocols for record preservation and development of retention schedule, 4:60-AP1, purchases, 4:60-AP3, criminal history record checks of a contractor employees, 4:80-AP, checklist for internal controls, 4:170-AP5, unsafe school choice options, 4:175-AP1, criminal offender notification laws, screening, 5:30-AP2, investigations, 5:250-AP, school visitation leave, 6:140-AP, education of homeless children, 6:170-AP1, checklist for development, implementation, and maintenance of parent and family engagement compacts for Title I programs, 6:170-AP2, notice to parents required by Elementary and Secondary Education Act, McKinney-Vento, and 6:170-AP2, notice to parents required for Elementary and Secondary Education Act. Whoops, I just repeated that.
Yeah, you missed a line, Randy.
Homeless Assistance Act and Protection of Pupil Rights Act, and 7:60-AP1, challenging a student's residence status, 7:60-AP2, establishing student residency, 7:270-AP1, dispensing medications, 7:305-AP, program for managing student athlete concussions and head injuries, 7:310-AP, guidelines for student distribution of non-school sponsored publications, 7:340-AP1, school student records, and 8:8, 8:95-AP, parental involvement.
Second.
Okay, any questions? Randy, on the board expense reimbursement that we talked about, is that an exhibit and there is no
That's some
AP?
exhibits, right?
Just double checking, I didn't see it.
It's, yeah, except it's the first one.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Giddens,
Aye.
Kegel. Aye. Captain Reagan.
Hi.
Val Reagan.
Aye.
Tyler. Aye. Reiner. Aye. Bailey.
Aye, motion carried. Get a motion regarding the exhibits.
Okay. Motion regarding policy exhibits. Wait a minute. I'll make a motion to approve policy exhibits 2:125-E1, board member expense reimbursement form, 2:125-E2, board member estimated expense approval form.
Hold on. Then do you want to put an amount in there because we're all looking at a blank one?
Right. I was gonna read all these, the amount,
You could then go back?
and
Okay,
then
sorry,
plug those in.
sorry. Go ahead then.
And did I get this one? 2:220-E1, board treatment of closed meeting verbatim recordings and minutes. 2:220-E2, motion to adjourn to a closed meeting. 2:220-E4, open meeting minutes. 2:220-E5, semi-annual review of closed meeting minutes. 2:220-E6, log of closed meeting minutes. 2:220-E7, access to closed meeting minutes and verbatim recordings. 2:220-E8, school board records, maintenance requirements, and frequently asked questions. 2:250-E2, immediately available district public records and web posted reports and records. 5:190-E1, notice of parents of their rights to request their child's classroom teacher's qualifications. 5:190-E2, notice of parents when their child is assigned to or has been taught for at least 4 straight weeks by a teacher who does not meet applicable state certification/licensure requirements. 5:190-E3, letter to a teacher who does not meet applicable state certification/licensure requirements for the grade level and the subject area of assignment. 6:170-AP1, E1, district level parent and family engagement compact. 6:170-AP1, E2, school level parent and family engagement compact. 6:170-AP2, E1, district annual report card required by Every Student Succeeds Act. 7:60-AP2, E1, letter of residence from landlord in lieu of a lease. 7:60-AP2, E2, letter of residence to be used when a person seeking to enroll a student is living within a district residence. 7:60-AP2, E3, evidence of non-parents' custody, control, and responsibility of a student. 7:340-AP1, E1, notice to parents, guardians, and students of their rights concerning a student's school records. 7:340-AP1, E3, letter to parents and eligible students concerning military recruiters and post-secondary institutions receiving student directory information. I thought we struck that one. And 7:340-AP1, E4, frequently asked questions regarding military recruiter, access to student records. Struck those.
Second.
But backing up,
You can read this, is it all better than-
It's not in there. It does not say that. It doesn't say that in there. The motion. On our notes.
the last one,
We didn't have anything written on it.
oh,
So they stay.
we can leave them in there and delete them later. Because we don't have military recruiters at our
It was
middle
a-
school.
Why can't we just revise your motion to
Omit those two.
omit those two
Okay.
now?
All right,
With revision.
omitting 7.340 AP E3 and E4, correct?
Last two.
Yes.
Last two, all right. We want to go back to 21125 E3.
Correct, and in your packet, on the green pages that you got, it's the second page, we needed to do a couple of things there. In the board packet, it had some values in there, and I've read that thing out how many times, and think I finally figured it out. And we need to enter a number, and this is the expense, and this is for the whole district, the administrators, school board, and staff. The current budget, Shelley was very helpful, she had it raked in. It was between $36,000 and $37,000 in the budget that we're working on right now, for everybody, is what we budgeted. We gotta stay, within our budget this current year. The $50,000 value that I threw out there was the resolution that we will be voting on has to be updated if we exceed that. So if we set it to this current year's budget, and if we spend more or go over this year, we have to go back and redo the resolution all over again. So I threw out $50,000 for everybody combined, and that should last for a few years. Or, if we start picking up the pace on sending
Mr.
people
Gibbs,
up.
where does it say that this is for all staff members? Because I'm seeing school board.
I did too at first, but then when I went down,
Whereas based upon the school district's budget and other financial considerations, the superintendent has recommended to the board a maximum allowable reimbursement amount for board members and district staff. So he's reading that in as all district staff. But like Pam said, this is under school board. Whereas section 1020 of the school code grants school boards other powers that are not inconsistent with their duties. It's Local Government Travel Expense Control Act added provides that school boards shall by resolution regulate the reimbursement of all travel, meal, and lodging expenses of officers and employees included but not limited to. Depends on how you want to read it.
right,
It says employees too.
Yeah, it does. It's just not.
I know it's in the school board, but it's saying.
Yeah, they'll change
They're
it
gonna
next
change it
month.
because it's not right.
It's not precise. Okay, so Mr. Giddens is suggesting we put $50,000 in that blank and approve it with that, and we still have to make a resolution at a meeting.
At a meeting, Tim, the second half of this example, it will be the date that we adopt that resolution, that we vote on that resolution. And that would be an amount not to exceed 50,000 effective whatever net meeting we do that on. First line would be 50,000, and then you move on down to number 2. That would be 50,000 also on whatever date we plan on having that meeting. I'd leave that date blank,
So that we're gonna have to reapprove this exhibit at that
not the
time.
exhibit, we all have to adopt a resolution.
Because it's not filled out.
Right.
So we're gonna have to reapprove it.
Can we table this until we get the amount in there? That way we can approve it at that time.
Do it the night of the
It's just like-
resolution?
Yes.
Okay,
I would.
so withdrawal 21, the night of the resolution.
Whenever we get, the amount in.
And the resolution is the second half of this page. Therefore be it resolved that board hereby.
Okay, so would you like to omit this from tonight's motion?
We can.
Okay, we'll put this on a future agenda.
It's 50,000 sound. But we don't have to go up to the max.
It
In
sounds
fact,
okay
we
to
haven't
me.
budgeted that much this year.
Right. Well, hopefully we won't have to go back and revisit it, but can we get it a little bit more precise so that we all know that's the entire district?
Okay,
You know, a word or two here.
Because otherwise, the word on the street will be this board spending $50,000
Yeah.
to go to Chicago.
So,
It
yeah,
says like
we need
it's
to
for
get it.
all the education.
right.
Right.
no, this covers that conference that 2 teachers is going to, that reading conference.
Absolutely.
Right, and they can.
And
And all the other
principals.
conferences our staff goes to.
Right.
I did attend a couple of workshops last year, and I never, in the past, never went to a workshop, but they were enough.
Okay. All right, so we have a motion and a second on the table for the exhibits.
And we're dropping that one.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I have a comment on 2:220E1. On the second page of it at the bottom, we are not currently approving closed minute meetings at the next meeting, so if we're not gonna do that, it probably needs to be taken out.
I think we took it out as
Closed meeting minutes.
I thought we did sometimes.
We were.
We
Yeah.
were, but
We
we've
stopped.
stopped doing it, and it hasn't been on there now for
Why did we stop?
quite a while, I don't believe.
Okay.
All right, then we need to make a point to do it.
I thought we just approved some.
No, those are
We
the
released
reads.
and retained.
Right.
Right,
Yeah.
Exactly what this policy
it
says.
says that
No, the
approves the
policy.
previous closed meeting minutes at the next open meeting.
The policy.
Is that the policy? or
No, that's
That's the exhibit.
I don't.
The policy.
We have a policy.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
I mean, we can
I
start
think we
doing
were only
that.
doing it once a month,
Yeah,
and then it got hectic and we weren't doing it.
the
Okay.
exhibits are green.
No, she must have done the policy.
Policy's in there.
She said it was.
Okay.
It's on my list.
Okay.
Right.
What is it?
2.220.
I'm just thinking, is that-
Well, it's supposed to be, yeah, there it is. It's in there, so it should be, yeah.
I got 220.
She's
You need
reading
220.
220.
2.200.
Okay, thank you.
We've been reading them, but we haven't actually been voting.
I thought we haven't been voting not to release it.
Okay.
Yeah, we've been waiting for the 6 months.
It's for closed, right?
Right.
Uh-uh.
Minutes from closed meetings. I don't think
Closed meetings. See what it says.
She's reading it. Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's on the page. It's on the last one.
I don't know, it talks about open,
We got closed meetings on the
Oh.
first page.
down on the bottom, I see it.
So it's not on our policy, it's on the exhibit.
That's what I'm saying, we need to take it out of the exhibit.
Okay.
because We're not doing it.
And it's not in the policy, so we don't have to do it.
Right.
Right. Okay. Could we remove that part from the exhibit? You'd be comfortable doing that?
That's up to everybody.
We either have to start doing, in my opinion, we either have to start doing it or take it out.
Or we have to put it
I'm
in
good
the
either way,
policy.
but if we're gonna have it in the exhibit, we need to do it.
Or it has to follow the policy as well, so we can put it in the policy.
Right.
But it's not in the
It's true.
policy, so we don't have to.
Right, and what I'm saying, if we're gonna,
Right.
it's a disconnect.
Right.
It says something different in the policy.
So for now, I would suggest taking it out. And if you choose to do it, then put it back in.
And then also write that in the policy.
Yes. Okay?
We can also go about policy.
When it's not going above policy, it's just changing your policy at that point.
If it doesn't specify you're going above it, because it doesn't say you have to do it so often.
but this is,
If you do it every time, then you're going by policy.
I think the policy didn't say anything at all.
It doesn't say
Right.
you have to do it at all.
Right, so
If you
it's
want to put
totally
that in
different.
policy. you
I
could.
know what I'm saying.
I know, I mean, I'm just,
Can I make 2 comments?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I think one got missed. It was, I guess this is back on the APs. 1:20 AP. Did anyone else hear that?
Do it again, Dennis.
1:20 AP. That one wasn't on
it's not on the
what he
list.
read.
Is it on our agenda?
Okay, so let's see if it's on the agenda. 1:20 AP. I don't think so. No.
The agenda.
It's not on the agenda.
So that one will need to come back.
Was it on your minutes or, okay. What did it say beside it? Did we approve the policies?
There wasn't, the policy wasn't on here. It was just the AP.
Okay, good.
All right, so
Okay,
we
so we'll
bring
have to
that
go back
back.
and get it, yeah.
Thank you. And then we tabled 5:60. For further discussion. And that includes the Exhibit 1 and Exhibit 2.
There was another on this one.
5:60. And I'm not sure, Randy, if you know off the top of your head what we were talking about.
Okay, so it wasn't on the list,
Yeah, I see
though.
that.
Okay.
We
do need to go back
Is that
and
a
grab it.
policy or?
Both. Policy
Without-
and exhibit.
Without that, I don't know what you're, okay.
Yeah.
So 5,
0.60.
I think we needed to talk about it before we can approve it.
okay.
5, okay, this is deleting 5:60 AP is being deleted.
I can't even find it on.
Yeah, the AP
It's
is,
coming
but
up. It's not on
we-
here, it's in here.
we wanted to talk
So-
further about the
Right.
5:60.
So you're gonna do
And
that
I'd have to look at the footnotes and that's up
committee?
there.
Okay, then that needs to go back to committee, correct?
Right.
All right.
And it's set table for further discussion for you guys.
Okay.
I thought we wanted to bring it here for the whole board.
It might have been, because I think it was, for the meals, you got $50 a day or something, and that's been around for a very long time. I don't remember what.
It's by the students, though. That's not it.
Oh,
Yeah,
expenses, footnote 19.
yeah, it's for the employees, isn't it? Employee travel expense?
It is.
Yeah, it's employee travel expense.
Government travel expense control.
Well, what's the government say? It depends on what time you're going to.
All they do is usually give you travel.
Which one was it?
5:60.
Okay, why don't I put that on the next agenda? Can we bring it back
That
and
one was
discuss it?
deleted.
I think it's all of it. It's AP
And the board could set a daily limit on meal costs such as employees will be reimbursed for meal costs and tips up to blank per day, consistent with the maximum reimbursement amount. Do you want me to just resend all of, just this one policy to everybody? There's comments, we wanted to discuss it and wanted to look at footnote number 19.
Do you want to do that at the next meeting?
We
Because
can.
we don't have copies of it,
Right.
so, yeah.
So I'm saying, do you want this resent in the next packet again?
Yes, please. That'll work. Okay.
What do you need to step in?
Okay, so 5.60 on the next agenda.
Just the policy or everything that goes with it?
5:60. we're gonna discuss again.
The policy and exhibit 1 and exhibit 2.
And there's an AP that we
The
will be
AP's
taking out.
deleted.
The current AP, we will be taking it out.
If it's deleting. You can give everybody a copy so they know what we're deleting.
Of all
but
of it.
yes. Okay, the whole thing, Mrs. Walton.
Everything under 560.
Okay, and then,
And then AP 120.
yep,
Okay.
next packet, okay. Are we ready for a roll call vote? Whenever you're ready,
I need a second.
it's fine.
A second.
Okay.
Giddens,
Aye.
Cable. Aye. Catherine Reagan.
Hi.
Val Reagan.
Aye.
Tyler.
Aye.
Briner. Bailey.
Motion carried. Informational items. Reminder of upcoming events. Next board meeting is September the 12th. The Central Illinois Valley Division board meeting will be Thursday, October 26th, 17 at Dunlap. Chicago Conference is November 17th through the 19th. I will keep reminding everybody of that. Presentations and suggestions by board members. You see the list, our ongoing list that I keep putting on there every time. Once I cross through them, then I'll take them off. We still need to check into solutions for busing for out-of-district special ed students if possible. I know you've already checked once, but maybe something else will come up. Blacktop out in front of the district office here, we need to get on that. Change one water faucet at LaSalle to see if this will help the water situation.
Let me talk about that. Tony came and they called me last Sunday or Saturday, I can't remember, one of the weekend days. And he said he was in the restrooms and there's only one source of water. Wasn't for sure it's hot or cold, but the faucets that we have in there now, the ones that are automatic, no handle, hand in there to come on. There's only one source of water. He was ready to put the knobs in there, and he says, not sure I can do it. He said, to do it, I'm gonna have to either go into the wall, run pipe to the, whichever one he wants, or he can run the pipes on the outside of the wall. He said, it could be pretty expensive. And I'm sitting there looking at new faucets that look really nice. They do kind of spray. The biggest problem is when you put your hand there, they're just like darts coming out, and they splash on the wall. So, I mean, Toby, I think if y'all want to get a tower, whatever you want, it's gonna be costly, maybe, when I say costly, it might cost $600 or $700 for each sink in each room.
Can you just get the faucets that just have the one knob? That way,
We could do that.
if you did the two separate, then I understand
Right.
running a pipe, but.
And we're not for sure if it's hot or if it's a combination of both, maybe, I don't know. You know, there's just one water source. What's that?
I was gonna
He
say,
does, he actually is a legal pump.
oh, is he
Yeah.
licensed? Sorry.
Because I asked him that, I do ask him, and the plumbing is something he's very popular. So he looked at, he actually called and was ready and told him.
I think what Savannah said, that's what I have at home.
Because it'd just be the
fucking
one,
sun.
yeah.
That's what I have at home.
I mean, if you separate out the hot and the cold, I understand,
Right.
but if you have just one,
Because I don't think the hot water's ever hot enough to burn a child in that building.
In that building.
That would be
Should
my
even have
concern
hot water there.
with the one, but I don't think it's that hot. Yeah, I don't either.
Just a little check off the
If
gym.
they get water, that would be a plus.
What'd you find yesterday? Mr. Giddens went to school.
Mr. Whiston showed me when I showed up for the, we walked through there and we looked at a couple of restrooms and that. And then I thought about it. I wonder if there's an adjustment to those electric faucets, because we noticed the center one was very difficult. So if there's a way to make an adjustment to that sensitivity,
Yeah,
we want it triggered easier than what it is right now, so it's easier for the kids. It's my large hand, and we had trouble with one of the sinks really bad, but I know one time we couldn't get anything to work at all, kept trying over and over. So is there a sensitivity adjustment? There was another restroom we looked at where they pushed down the valves and it stayed on for a long time. I was just curious, I don't know, I'm not a plumber or anything. Like when you looked at the hand, is there an adjustment on that where you can speed up the release on that so it doesn't keep running for, it seemed like a minute after the kid
Yeah.
pressed it?
Okay, why don't we get our regular plumbing company
Okay.
to come out and take care of all this, give us an idea of what's going on, what are our options, and like Randy said, go around to those restaurants and change that. They are staying on a long time because when we did the walkthrough, Val mentioned it.
Yeah, I mean, it was on for at least 3 or 4 minutes, it was a long time.
It's almost
And I
like there's
was
an
ever to
adjustment
shut
where it
off.
pushes and it almost shuts off
Right.
instantly. And I noticed the one we went in here just stayed on and on and on.
Don't you think spend the money,
I
get
think
somebody
we
in here
should
and
be-
let's, because we've got more than one
People
issue.
keep telling us too, it's gravity, it's gravity, so maybe a plumber needs to look at it and think, what is really going on? Because we've been told it's because of.
I can't speak for the women's restroom, but I don't think there's hot water in any of the men's restroom. The one across from the office is very cold, but kind of refreshing, but cold. That.
This
Plenty of
might
water.
not be refreshing.
I don't either, I think it's only cold water.
Now, I will
Okay,
say,
so call
in
plumber.
Steve Johnson's building, we had our plumber from Tazewell Plumbing that we'd used before. He charged us very well, but he did get Parkview. We went through and I agree that the stools weren't working right. They're working right. The kitchen dishwasher wasn't working. Spent the last month, last year, not working. We got it working for the start of school, and I think it was $1,200 that he did not work.
With that, I know when I was there, it just continuously runs into that drain now. It's like they just routed it, the hot water, to the drain, and it just continuously runs,
Talking about the dishwasher.
even when it's not on, yeah.
Ew, that could be expensive.
Well, very.
You're saying it continuously runs?
And it wasn't even on,
The water just continues, runs out of it.
into the drain on the
I
floor.
haven't seen that.
I don't think I've been made aware of that either. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, we better do something about
Yeah.
that.
I mean, he showed, that I did see, I was in there talking to cooks yesterday, and the pressure isn't as good as it was last year, but it could have been the plumber working that day. He said that the day he was working. I never saw it, that when he showed us, it looked like it was working. We'll check that out. We definitely don't want that.
Okay. All right, call a plumber for both of them if you have to. All right, access to park scores, Mr. Whiston gave us the information. Backstops was removed.
The big backstop was removed.
It would be a big job. Thank
Couple
the city
hours-
for that,
couple
or the
hours
village
every
for
day.
that. Homewood Heights shed and fence, we still have that on that. And water testing for lead.
Water testing is a big, I think that all, all know that.
Yes, I gave you the papers, has to be done. We'll leave it on here. All right.
So I have the board approval that if the shed and the fence at Homewood are removed, that's fine.
Yes, I,
Question I'd like to talk with that now. The
That
fence, I
sounds
was,
groundhog with you, that's.
yeah. Mr. Giddens, you're okay with that? We get a consensus before we move on.
That's what I was going, that's
Okay.
what we've been chatting about, I just
We
wanna make
have.
sure we're
I
okay
think
with
the
it.
shed needs to be gone.
Alright.
All right.
now, what I was talking about was the fence back there. It doesn't look the best. But to me, if the fence was locked, it would give some security to keep people going into the building. People have it, I'm not down there, but people gather on those back steps. It's a place to hang out. And if we had a fence where we could lock it up, the gates, or the
We don't
rings.
take the fence, Brenda.
So I'd like to
Just-
have,
So
I
maybe,
think that makes
maybe,
some sense,
it
because
does.
that leaves that door open, or, you know.
so maybe we need to
Accessible.
fix the gate, is what you're
Yeah.
saying?
Okay.
fix the gate,
So change it to fix the gate,
remove the backstop.
remove the groundhog house.
Okay, all right. Only the shed
Yes.
or the groundhog's house.
But there was another part of the, fence or something. we should-
There's a backstop.
There's a backstop.
Yeah. Take the backstop out.
Okay.
At home with the backside.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we still have this small backstop here behind this building, the small backstop, and the post.
But there's, that's gonna take some extra, we'll do something with, I'll talk to you about that.
All right. Okay, does any board members have any suggestions you'd like to add to this? We took the other two and put on a committee, getting the parents involved and the policies online. We put those in committees. So is there anything else?
Add to his list,
Uh-huh.
new, something new.
What do you have?
How about this
You just got
fire,
one taken.
fire truck out there? Let's replace the seat on that,
We
Fire
got-
that
truck
broken
equipment.
Got a work order.
on the
We
playground.
did a work order, and Toby has that work order. It's just, it's got to cut a board.
And,
Okay.
yeah,
Maybe we should make it priorities as the kids are back in school.
All right. Anything else?
I know we've got a place I've talked to Toby about on the building, there's a lot of birds
Nesting?
nesting underneath the nest. It's pretty
All right.
poopy. It's just poop everywhere. We need to get it cleaned up.
All right.
If we can clean the nest out, get the thing where
This
it
is
covers.
osmosis, we probably should. I mean, seriously, you don't want something to get
It's on the playground side too.
Okay, it's your turn. What reports do you have?
Reports?
Yes.
Let's start with park. Okay, what I'll hand out first is, you think, why would you hand this out? Actually, someone was in yesterday, said, you ever been on Digger? What's it called?
Mr. Gibbs, it's gotta be
That's
Mr.
the thing.
Gibbs.
Randy must have came in now
School
about that
Digger.
one.
And actually, we just did a little thing on there that says, okay, where does our elementary school rank, where does our junior high rank in Tazewell County? And, you know, I looked at it, and I thought, it's just a number, you know, the bigger the number, the worse. We've got the biggest number in the elementary, I think, 21 elementaries, we ranked 21. Now, I thought, how did they get that rank? You know, and I actually did some research, go punch the computer today, and it says 99% of that rank comes from park scores, park only. So the park test is what they don't base it on free enrollment, they don't base it on how much money you spend on kids, it's park test, math and reading, or math and language arts. So that's, hand that out. The first page is the elementary, and really, it just shows you that I think we have a ways to go. I think we're always going to be looking at getting better. Sometimes being at the bottom is a good place to be. You're starting out.
Been there a while.
But that's, the first page is elementary, the second page is junior high. We glad to let you know we are ahead of one school. Sometimes in a small school, if you get small numbers, tests can go against you because if you have a small number could get, so we're ahead of one school. And it's not, I don't think our goal should be to move up one school, it's just get our park scores better. I did send the board out, I was gonna talk about, I only did one grade level that looked like this. What I liked about this, if you want a copy, I can give you one right now, but basically, what I like about it is, there's 5 categories of park. If your kids are in the do not meet expectations, and actually I like the word they put in there, do not yet meet expectations. It's kind of a positive outlook that, you know, they haven't met it yet, but they're going to get it. But the lowest category you can get, and it runs $650 to $699, do not meet expectations yet, okay? Or do not yet meet expectations. The second lowest group is the partially meet expectations. The third group is approaching expectations. They have lots of groups. And then what everybody kind of looks forward to is meet expectations. The highest you can get, and when I talked to the lady that came in and gave a math presentation on park test, I think a lot of it was park test. She just talked about how you can get the park test up. The lady we had come in on Friday was outstanding. She says a lot of the schools she works with, getting kids to exceed. She says, and I want everybody on the board and those people listening, the park test is a hard test. Let me tell you, there's nothing easy about it. There's no A, B, C, and D answers. You know, she said, I heard her say 2 or 3 times during talking to teachers, you've got to get kids talking. You've got to get kids talking. Kids need to talk. When kids talk, they can read. When kids read, they can do math. And I kept hearing those things. You've got to get kids talking. off those darn phones, maybe I was thinking, maybe what she was saying, I don't know, but get kids talking, I thought, maybe that's a bad thing. We'll always tell our kids to be quiet, you know, but get kids talking, get kids reading, and that, so that's kind of where the park, with how they judge you. I gave you a copy of everything except fourth grade, but I do like this, how I did the third grade, because I can look at where the students are, what their names are, and sometimes if I'm let's say this, third grade is what I typed out. If I'm a third grade teacher, you might be surprised. Some of these scores won't surprise you. Some of them might say, well, that's about where I figured this person would fall. But you might find one on there that says, well, devil, did he just not try? Or, you know, that's what I think you really look at. And I'll be honest with you, when I see do not meet expectations, partially met expectations, I think those kids in third grade, to get them up to where you need to do the meet is very hard, especially in reading. Some teacher told me the other day, he said, I think that's more true in math. I said, I don't know. Reading, if you can't read in third grade, or if you have trouble reading in third grade, it's just, it gets hard. So when we look at approaching expectations, you know, those kids are getting up toward the meet expectations. Now, in the third grade last year, I picked up math first. And math is not easy. But the good thing about our third graders in math, last year, when they were tested, 19%, 19.4 met or exceeded. We actually had one exceed, which is hard to get to exceed. But we had 17.8 meet expectations. And what we find is we're somewhere around the, if you talk 8th grade, 3rd grade, they're going to fall somewhere between 20% at the top side or maybe 5% at the bottom side. And we have grades that in math and English only 5% of the grade is meeting. It's not good. I mean, we want those scores 1 hour. When we get up to 20, we think, okay. For instance, when I look at 3rd grade, okay, here's our 3rd grade math scores from last year. We have 19.4 meeting. So if I'm a teacher, if I'm a group that's going to come in here and get these scores up, what would be our best way to do it? I would say probably attack the approaching expectations. You know, if you look at them, they're 25 points when they're in the 700 range, 728. If they get up to 750, they're meeting. And that's really, I think we want to work on all the kids. I don't want to say we work on that, but that group is what's going to make your scores look better, getting those. And to me, you should be trying to move each group up one. What concerns me about, well, we'll get to reading next, but if you see math, we have, I think, 11 students out of those 62 that met. 11 out of 62. One exceeded. So math in 3rd grade is looking up. The year before that, 9%. So maybe you think, oh, maybe it's a new math reading series, the new math series. Maybe that's increased it from 11 to 19. Maybe they were just a better group. I don't know, but 3rd grade last year in math, pretty good. Hats off to you. 19 is a better number than what we've been used to in math. Our math scores, for instance, if I look back, in 2015 at the junior high, at the middle school, Parkville School, 5th grade 7% met math, 6th grade 10%, 7th grade 4%, 8th grade 15%. In 2016, 2016 were probably our worst scores. Okay, I don't know what it was, but 2016 our math scores at Parkview, 5th grade, 15% or 13% met, 6th grade 11% met, 7th grade, junior high teachers, and I say this to everybody. I take fault if our scores are low, it's my fault. If it's the principals have accepted, it's some of their fault, some of the teachers' fault. We all share together. We're not going to sit here and say, okay, in 2016 our math scores at 7th grade were 4% met. In 8th grade that year, 2%. One kid met. I remember when I came in here, I remember looking, okay, well, what are our scores? One kid met in math. I still say, I don't know how that class tested, but I would say they're not really trying very hard. Okay, so I think we really need to be passionate. One thing I noted in that group is that only one kid met in that grade. The year before that grade, in 7th grade, 13% did not meet. I don't understand this. 7th graders, that group, 13% did not meet. That's the lowest category, remember? And when they moved up to 8th grade, they went from 13% not meeting to 71% not meeting. And I would say, if I'm a junior high math teacher, and they go from 13 to 71% not meeting something, and I would not blame the teacher, because I think the kids probably have something to do with that test score. They're probably not trying very hard. All right, 8th grade year, we're ready to get out of here, let's get going. But, my thing is, we need to make sure, I'm gonna quote two people, or I'll talk about two people that I saw that have given tests. We had a 4th grade teacher at Gardner. I go down the hallway one day, looking for a kid that's in trouble. And I see this teacher is giving this kid the biggest pep talk, you can do it, you can do it, we studied hard. And after they were done, I said, what are you doing next? She says, we're getting ready for ISAT test, or the park test, we're getting ready for this test, and we've been teaching it forever. And she was just saying, you can do it, you can do it. It was the day of the test, and I'm like, wow, you're really a cheerleader. Gotta be, that kid's right on the line somewhere. I know I also had a teacher many years ago that taught math at West Pike, and he said, I want to test my kids in math. I'm a math teacher, a high school math teacher. When they go take the whatever test it was, they're coming in my room, because I want to know how they're doing. And I want to make sure they're working hard. So I think it's everybody working together. Let me get back to my scores. 71. I just went in 15. Remember, I said, remember, go look it up. In year 2015, the 7th graders in math, 13% did not meet. Remember that next year, 71% did not meet. So that was, blame it on whoever. Everybody, kids, teachers, principal, anybody, janitor, secretaries, whoever in that building. It's all about parks tests and getting parks scores up. But there's some positive things. We want more kids doing meeting. For instance, in 2016, okay, let's say this. In 2015, our 4th graders, 16% met. Okay, our 5th graders, 5th graders, 16% met, which is a pretty good, good number for us. The next year in 6th grade, those same kids that got 16% met, 26% met the next year. So if you look in here, and I think when you look at grades, this 5th grade, how they do this year, how do they do with 6th grade? And when you start following those kids through, and sometimes in the 7th and 8th grade they go down, and I don't know what that is. I'm not blaming any of those teachers or any of those principals. Scores go down, and I think Mr. Johnson has said before, we're not where we want to be with park scores. And I also, in speaking today, I think you have to have some skin in the game. Okay, and I don't know, teachers I think really need to feel, we can blame the parents, we can blame the teacher, we can blame anybody I want to, but the scores, we need to look at getting the scores up. I don't like it when we are toward the bottom. 10% of things, 5%. But principals, you could talk about the park test. Park test is hard. The lady that came, I thought was very good. One thing I liked is she says, I'm going to give you information. Matter of fact, she says, here's my phone number, teachers, please email me. I've got all this stuff, and I'm going to be anxious to see what teachers. I'm going to call her up probably in a couple weeks and say, have any of our teachers called her? And I said, what do we need to do? Our scores are low. And she said to me, you can go back and get the parks test. You can get the questions they've asked over the last 3 years. The park test has been given 3 years. Okay, remember that. This is our 4th year of park test. So, we should be getting better at how we're teaching toward the park test. And like she said today, I think she said today that we talked to her on that Friday. She says, your teachers might have a new curriculum, but they might not know exactly how to use it to its fullest potential. You've got to get people, but she says, I will email you as principal our test questions I have. And I was talking to Steve, I said, Steve, and I even said something to our teachers, you have these questions, these old park tests, they give you, it's not rocket science, these are the questions, it's hard. It's not A, B, C, D, it's, they might say, which of the, pick 3 of the next 6 ones and explain why. Guys, principals talk.
But
Yes.
everybody else on this list had the same questions.
It's hard.
And
yes,
we're
right,
way down here. So
Now, that was 15-16, I was reading that, that was 15-16 data, that's all.
Last year's, yeah. Hopefully it's improved.
Actually, probably, it might, I don't think it's last, 15-16 was last year, then 16-17.
No, it says 2015, 2016, this one that you gave us.
Right, but last year our park test was 17.
16, 17, yeah.
So we're,
Okay, so-
but it comes out in October, I'm sure they're gonna come out with new information in October. But I think the math series we have is good, teachers have said they like it. But I don't know, it's, maybe we should give money or something to the class at Red. Get them from those, I don't know.
I was thinking, can we do like an incentive? If like part of our reason is like maybe the kids aren't trying, can we do like, you meet or exceed expectations on park tests, you
Can
like.
I go to the trampoline park?
Yes, something, honestly. But like, if that's part of the reason that our kids aren't doing well,
Didn't East Area High School do that? Maybe before you.
I don't know, we got like out of class and stuff if we did well. No, we took it for a grade. Ours were for grades, like the math and stuff,
But the thing is, you don't get them back the same school year.
Right.
right, but I was gonna, oh yeah. So we don't know how the kid did until,
The next school.
Till the next year, yeah.
so we
And with
can't
our mobility rate,
incentive.
half of them could be gone.
Or just, I think it's a good idea, I think what Mr. Liston said too, about, well, but the teacher was in the classroom with them, encourage them to do well. I think they just had, and it's hard, because if you're 10 years old, you think, I don't want to take this lousy test. But maybe if they say, that would be real subjective, you try really hard, we're gonna reward you. And if the teacher, if a kid gets done in 10 minutes, you could just say, well, you just lost the reward because I know you couldn't read it over in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Up front, they know right then, I'm writing it down. Or, I don't know, even with the 7th and 8th graders, I see what you're saying, because they're thinking, we're going into high school, no one's gonna know these, but
It's not part of the report card, no one's gonna even know.
but the state does know, and I think if we tell them, you wanna get scholarships for school, they look at this test. Cause they used to, you could be a scholar, and they would look at your test scores, and then you're listed as an Illinois State Scholar, and you could get scholarships. So maybe if they know early on that this could potentially get them scholarships and potentially, help them, they would take it more serious, I don't know.
I don't know, I feel like we need to make it matter, because
Well, but, when I take a test, if it didn't matter, I wouldn't even try.
Hey, Mr. Giddens, you've been really quiet. Go ahead.
Well, I do look at a lot of data and that, and I showed him like the school digger. But that gets me started and it tells me, gives me direction where to go to get data.
Well, what are we going to do to get this up then?
Some of the things you threw out there, most kids, they're not thinking scholarship at 8th grade, they're not going to college, they're just wanting out of school, period. And start making, whatever, they're looking for a career, but don't understand, a lot of those careers do need to college. We do need to come up with some incentive in there, because other schools, how are they getting the high scores?
That's what I'm saying,
That's what I was
this
gonna
is
ask.
Everything is this,
why are the kids in Central trying more than the kids in our school?
but our teachers also know the kids that aren't trying, if they get up 10 minutes after they started the
Exactly.
test, wait a minute, come back, I don't know if they're allowed to walk around, if they see a kid just sitting there answering A on everything,
We can't say anything.
you can't walk, you can't do
Well, you can't
nothing.
say anything, but you can say, if I observe you not trying on this test,
We can do that, but we can't stop them.
exactly, I wouldn't
You
stop
can't talk
them.
to, okay, I
You can't
understand.
stop them, but you could just say up front, we're gonna have this, and if I observe you not doing this,
I think
This
even
sounds-
if we would go back, let's say a 3rd grade teacher would go in and talk to the 4th graders. Hey, Johnny, Susie, you did really good last year. Good luck this year on the test. I want you to know that
Yeah.
you guys met last year and we really want you meeting this year. And maybe that'd be something, this simple, positive.
or maybe
Caring.
almost like honor roll.
And I
Like,
think
look
we
at
could-
these kids, I mean, if the
Make
parents
it
would,
something.
the parents would let you release it, maybe you could just say, hey, this is the kids who met.
And the teachers could help us on this, but I don't know. It could be, there's, in a way, there's some bad things. You single out these 19% that did well last year. Hey, great job. The other kids might say, okay, thank you for telling me I'm not doing good. I'm not trying, but I don't know. There's got to be a way Nick or Steve, you know, there's probably a way we can, you know, like I said, the teacher that was in fourth grade that had that, I know that fourth grade teacher always looked at those third grade scores, and we always jumped up in fourth grade. We knew our kids were gonna test higher fourth than third, because we had that fourth grade teacher. And I guarantee you, we always tested better in fourth than we did third. She made, because she got those scores and saw where they were coming from, and the ones that were close, we worked harder on those kids.
Mr. McCormick has a comment.
Speaking for my building, I know we've discussed different ideas for rewards. We've talked about, you know, at the high school level, typically they take the test their junior year, and then they find ways to reward them their senior year. I think our teachers do a great job of being cheerleaders, and we try to reward them, you know, hey, we're testing this morning, everybody work hard, and you know what, this afternoon, we're gonna just kick back and watch a movie. You know, it's kind of that reward as we go along and encouraging them to do well, but in my building, we'd only have the opportunity to really reward the third graders when they become fourth graders, because the fourth graders who took it last year, well, they're in a whole other building. That would be a difficult thing because we don't get the scores back for 6 months.
Right.
So, this kind of is negative. What if we did like, you know, instead of saying, oh, I mean, have them relax after the test, but like be like, and when you finish your test, come see me because I have assignments for you. Because then the kid might be like, ooh, I don't want to do my times tables. I'm going to take more time on the test.
Boy, wow,
Well,
that's,
you
I
know
never
what
thought
I
about
mean?
that.
I'm going to be like, ooh, no, like, ooh, I'm going to run out of time so I can't finish this test. Well, you know what I mean? Because if a teacher was like, I have a math packet for you to do after this, I'd be like, oh, maybe I should take more time on my.
I'm gonna depress them though.
Like, I mean, yeah, but then I feel like they might be like, oh, I don't want to do all this homework, so I'm going to just take my time and do the test as long as I can.
Along those lines though, the math test, the kids take that 3 times a year. And then every student, they get the results back instantly. And it shows how much time the student spent. So you can look at it, see a kid spent 15 minutes on it, did bad. Okay, you've identified this student, you know who the student is, things like that. Especially if they've done it on all 3 tests. You know what the issues are, whatever. It may be an outside issue that just came up, okay? Student dealing with coping. So you do have that to look at. How do we get them up? That's where everybody has to come in. And, you know, that we were working on, that's, we gave the test, okay, move on. It's, we got to get improving. There's a lot of different answers. No one answers, one thing is the correct answer for everybody.
Well, we need to find an answer.
Yeah, we need to see what other schools are doing.
Yeah.
I will say this, I think part of the reason, I hate to say this, is the negativity around the PART test. Everyone said, oh, the PART test is horrible, they can opt out of it, don't take it. I mean, just constant bashing it. So, I mean, of course the students are gonna feel like it's not a worthwhile test for me to take because all the parents, all the educators, everyone is continuing complaining about how horrible the test is. So maybe change our tune as well to say, yes, this is a wonderful test, it's gonna measure your growth. Not what you know, your growth. And we're gonna see how well you do. And see what we need to do to help you. And tell the parents that, and maybe the parents might encourage their kid to take it, because some parents, they were saying, opt out of it, have your kid opt out. So we can say, we can't help your child if we don't know what they need.
Right.
What percent did not take it last year, Steve? I think most.
I don't have the percentages in front of me, but I know that the participation rate was we did see a vast improvement compared to the previous year. Yeah, we didn't have a whole lot. I don't think I'm trying to think at the junior high level. I don't think we had any opt-outs last year.
2015-16 was the fact that all the 8th graders, or a lot of the 8th graders did not take the test.
Right, and some of our brighter kids just opted out not to take it.
Right.
So that could be
We had
it.
a lot opt out that year.
Okay, do we want to discuss the numbers at the next meeting?
Yes.
In depth? Everybody hold on to your information and
You want the next meeting, or, yeah, budget gets through quick. Let's say budget's next meeting.
then, no, budget's not till the end of the month. 26th, I
Okay.
believe, 12. So we would have plenty of time, so bring back your numbers. You can get on Digger or whatever else you do, Mr. Gibbons, and give us whatever you can find.
I like what you said about, it's a wonderful test. It's, you know, because you don't hear that, and then this be, make it,
A lot of it's attitude. I get what you're saying.
We don't need to scare them with the test.
Just take it.
Right, just take it.
and the last thing we want to do is show them what we're ranking now, because that's okay.
No, that's not positive.
That's not.
Yeah, but sometimes you gotta know that you need to improve. It's like not giving a kid a grade because you don't wanna give them an F or a D because you don't. Everyone just gets a participation grade. So at some point you gotta know what,
And expectations.
exactly, we
My
want to
expectation
improve.
is not being next to the last.
Right, we wanna improve. We
You know,
can
this-
be number one.
This district has graduated a lot of students, yes, that have been very beneficial in life, you know?
But I think
We have
that's
a lot of
also coming,
resources for
I
them.
think that's also coming back too with the career fair. I was at a meeting, a conference, whatever. And that's basically, they talked about areas that don't do well in school. And one of the reasons is because it's generational. So if the parents haven't went to college, it's hard for them to know how to help their own kid go to college, because they never navigated it. So if you don't know how to navigate it, what you really need to do to set in place to be successful in life, that they just, the kids kind of like fall through the cracks and they can't do it. And they said, and actually now you have to be on the path of your junior high. Because in order to get the high school classes you need for college, and the parents don't know that because they never went to college themselves, so they can't help their own child. So it's up to everyone else to give them the resources and help them and bring it in. And I think that we just need to tell them in fifth grade, if you really are college bound and you really want to go to college, you can, there's grants, there's things, but you have to be serious about school.
Yeah, especially because like our kids are going to a feeder school. Like we're a feeder school. They're going to compete with the kids who are number one right now.
Are they?
Central's number one.
Central in Washington.
Oh, Central and Washington.
Washington, yes.
Okay, but Central Junior, I was like, oh my God, how are they so high? But still they're competing with like Robine and Central Junior
Robine's
High
pretty high.
that are high. Robine is number 3
Okay, then I'm back to what,
our county. So we need to like help push our kids up so that way they can get the same opportunity and go in with the same knowledge and preparation.
And that's another thing, right, because they're thinking, I didn't get this, taught this in 7th and 8th, I didn't get, you know. So we're not underdogs, we're gonna teach it, and you're gonna have to be serious about learning it.
Yeah.
We're on top of the hill. We look down on everything. We should look down. We're on top of the hill.
One last, I just want to say one last thing. Part of it, I think we are tackling the problem. Because I can instantly, School Digger will take us back to 2003. We were ranked in the middle in the state,
Yeah,
okay? In 2003, not so low, we're no, you know, so this community just slowly. And the biggest drop, I noticed they changed the grading standards in 2006. They upped the scale on, they did it again in 2012, and then they switched over to Park. But did Creve Coeur transition to Common Core? And I think we're being tested at Common Core. And if we're still teaching some of the old, that's the reason why we're looking at the books, looking at language arts and everything else. If we don't align our curriculum with the new test, that's
Yeah.
my initial thoughts.
We need to do it so our
And that's where we're
kids-
spending the money. So it's not,
but it's not teach to the test, it's just that, and in all fairness, it is our fault, Common Core should have been instituted a long time
Yeah.
ago. We were on the path to do it, and it fell through. We have no excuse as a district why we
As
did
a
not
board.
totally, right, to totally implement that. I mean,
Yeah,
shame on us.
we have to get that.
I'm sorry. but it's
so
kinda
we
like-
have to be, we're part of the
We
thing,
didn't
and
force
it's
it.
staring us in the face. We can't ignore it anymore.
And everyone thought Common Core was just gonna go away after 2 years, I think, and that was part of the problem. It's like the park test, we thought it was gonna go away in 2 years.
It may go away until it's 5 years and held in.
okay, so we have language arts textbooks on the agenda for this year to purchase those. What else can we do in the meantime? Because these kids in 3rd grade this year aren't gonna get to make it up again. Kids in 4th grade. We've got to do something this year.
I think the summer school, we talked about summer school, after school, 2 hours. I mean, we have a lot of options we're offering.
And are we offering that, are we only offering tutoring at Parkview? Or do we have that
Currently.
list out?
Currently just Park.
Okay, maybe we should look into doing a thing like Parkview's doing at LaSalle.
Extended day.
Yeah,
That's what we're talking about.
yeah, maybe we should look into that.
Yeah, and see how much it'll cost and get on. I mean, I'm not worried about it. We just have to get
'Cause
transportation down and cost. And maybe, again, let's send out letters and see if,
See about interest.
say, these are the park scores, and would you be interested in summer school?
Yeah.
Let's don't do that just yet.
Okay.
Okay, let's wait a little
Well, I mean,
longer.
that way we
It's
can
only
get-
the second day of school.
I know, but we could get it in place. And like, maybe after the 9 weeks.
You're talking the extended day, not summer school.
No, even maybe
Right,
summer
she's doing
school.
Summer school.
Okay.
Either or.
We could ask about both at the same time.
Okay.
And ask the educators some options. I mean, we gotta see if they're willing to stay over.
And if we can get somebody else if they don't want to, because I think that was the problem last spring.
Yeah.
We didn't have any staff that wanted to.
Right.
Okay, what else do you have?
We'll
Mr.
let
Whistle?
the principals talk about the teachers that we had. Also, each one of them had meet the teacher night at their school within the last week. Just anything else is going on, I might finish thinking about. They look at each other, who's gonna be first? Okay.
I think it's Mr. Johnson's.
All right, bye.
Any input on park scores, okay?
I appreciate and respect the comments on student achievement. I'm gonna back off on any formal comments tonight because to me, it's a little preliminary for me to make comments until we've actually had a good opportunity to review the scores and actually sit down and meet and do some data analyzing with our staff. But I think, just really quick here, to me, with what we're talking about tonight, student achievement is the culminating effect of a lot of different factors that I think that we need to take a look at. And one of the things that I want to take, and I talked to Mr. Whiston about this, one of the things that I'd like to put together with our staff at Parkview School is a strategic plan. Part of that's student achievement, but the part of the criteria in a strategic plan, it's not really student achievement, but it is student achievement because there's, like I said, there's a lot of different factors that we look at and we have to arrive at some baselines. Someone said, you know, we need to look at our park scores and where are we at, and we need to set some goals. We do need to set some goals, but I feel that from Parkview, we need to set some goals in some different areas as well. And I think if we do that, then I think we're hopefully going to see some carryover with student achievement. I think there's a direct correlation with that. So anyway, but I really appreciate that discussion on improving student learning. Very good. Very briefly here, the last meeting reported on student enrollment. We are at 254. Numbers have increased. At the 5th grade, as of today, we have 64 students enrolled. 6th grade, we have 55 enrolled. That's the lowest grade level enrollment. 7th grade, largest grade level, we have 75. And then at the 8th grade level, we have 61 students enrolled. So 254. New students moving in where we have 20. We may have 21, 22, but we're right at 20 as far as having new students moving in. We did have some students to move out. The 254 does not include alternative education placements. So we have some students placed in some different settings. Technically, they are our students for their home school, but they're not in a seat in Parkview School. So those students are not in the 254. Mr. Whiston talked about the Teacher Institute Day. Harvey Harrington, Parkview staff, I think we're motivated by Mr. Harrington's words, very positive, very uplifting, and I think that as a building, I know I took a lot away from Mr. Harrington's message. Did talk with Mrs. Strasser, and our plan is to try to bring Harvey Harrington back into our school to talk to our students, to provide a motivational message to our students. So that's the plan, is try to bring Harvey in, working with our student council in the near future. Mr. Whiston talked about Sharon Rack. Sharon Rack was here on day 2, and Sharon presented some professional development to the staff and administration on differentiated math. 2.5 hours, a lot of time there, but there was some good topics, some good instruction. Hopefully we all took something away from that, with improving math being one of our goals at Parkview. Anyway, Mr. Whiston referenced Meet the Teacher Night. Had a great turnout last night. Got a little bit worried, was looking at my watch. It was the Meet the Teacher Night was scheduled to start at 6:30, and it's lo and behold it's 6:25, and we don't have hardly any parents. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, we're not going to have a very good turnout. And between 6:25 and 6:35, we almost filled the gym. So we had a lot of parents and guardians, grandparents, students come in. Almost packed the house last night. Great night. So our parents and guardians had a great opportunity to meet with our teachers, to learn about the classrooms, and Mr. Whiston was kind enough to provide some ice cream at the end of the evening. So very good night last night. Very positive occasion with Meet the Teacher Night. We've been looking at some numbers with student breakfast and lunches. Mr. Whiston has brought in the new program for the free breakfast and lunches, and it's kind of interesting. Last year, on average, we had 72 students who participate in the breakfast program. That's an average, 72 a day, 16, 17 last year. And then for lunches, higher, of course, we had we averaged 175 student lunches per day last year. We've only had 2 days of school. That's kind of cool to look at. The first 2 days of school, our breakfast count's a little bit lower. We're averaging 55 students in for breakfast, but I believe at the junior high level, the reason is we're not, and the students, they're seeing their friends. We're back to school, and they're wanting to socialize and catch up with their friends up in the bleachers before they go in the cafeteria. So I would say that our student breakfast numbers would go up. Our lunch numbers have vastly increased. The first 2 days we have averaged 202 students eating a lunch, as compared to last year's 175. So after 2 days, that's where the cookie crumbles, so to speak, with breakfast and lunches. Upcoming activities and events, we have some map testing scheduled to commence on August the 29th. On August 31st, Student Council will be kicking off with the Fannie Mae fundraiser. We're excited for that. On September the 5th, Student Council, they will be making their formal speeches, and then we'll have the Student Council will have their elections on beginning September 5th as well. September the 7th, DARE instruction begins at the 5th grade level. I know that Mrs. Strasser and our 5th grade teachers, they're very excited about that. And it's been a busy last couple of days, last week and a half, but it's been a very good start to the school year, and we're very excited about the upcoming school year.
Thank you.
Just a fast question on DARE. Is DARE just 5th grade now, or is it still 6th grade?
This year, 5th grade this year,
Okay.
Shannon, the instructor, she's wanting to do 1 grade level this year,
Okay.
and I think the goal is that let's get this year under the belt, so to speak, and then next year look at branching upward into another grade level.
Okay. I was just curious.
Mr. McCormick.
Kind of following up on one of Mr. Johnson's comments about our math speaker. I know I had some teachers who were wondering, how long is this math speaker going to be today? And when teachers came, am I wrong?
No, 2.5 hours in the second day of school when they're trying to get stuff ready was.
When they came back to school and we had a potluck on that day, I did not hear one complaint about the time, and I heard a lot of people making comments about how she was a very good speaker. So I'll leave it at that. We had both kindergarten roundup as well as Meet the Teacher Night last Thursday. because of the way our institute days fell, we put them both on the same day because we didn't figure we'd have a good turnout on Friday from anybody, teachers included.
But this was just a one-time thing, right?
As long as we don't have institute on Thursday and Friday. But you know what? It really went very well. I was kind of worried that we'd have parking problems or overflow, but the way it worked, it seemed to flow very well. We had all the kindergarten parents did their thing in kindergarten and then came down to the gym where I talked to them. So we had them kind of isolated as other people might have been trickling in for 1st through 4th grade. So that seemed to go very well. Start of school yesterday went very well also. I had a comment from a grandparent who's a retired teacher, not from around here, just was in town, came with a kindergarten student, and before she left she said, you know what, for the first day of school, this went so smooth. And I was like, yes! It's nice to hear that from somebody not in the school system, but having been through a lot of opening days. We did watch the solar eclipse yesterday. Mr. Giddens came and gave us a hand keeping an eye, sitting there going, put your glasses back on, put your glasses back on. We were primarily with, 1st through 3rd grade on the playground. We were a little nervous in the morning about how it was going to turn out. But 4th grade was over by the parking lot. Kindergarten came out here. Kindergarten didn't go out very long because it's like herding cats and the attention span, but they got to see it. And then a number of them went back in and put it up on the smart board so they could watch.
That's good.
I think both Mr. Giddens and I were a little disappointed. We thought it was going to get like this dark, you know? And I guess if you watched some of the places they were live broadcasting from, where it was 100% coverage, it did get dark. But hey, it was still neat to see that up in the sky. I don't think I followed up on this. I wanted to touch base. Back when we did our walkthroughs, there's a stain on the floor in the exit area coming out to the playground. And it was because of a piece of carpet that was there. You pull up that carpet and you see this stain in the shape of the carpet. And I have a cousin who's in that business. He sent me some free samples. We tried everything and had that scrubber machine going, and to no avail. That stain is still there. But we did get new carpet in there, and the carpet's nice because it's actually kind of cushy. You feel a difference when you walk on it. And I told Jim Scotty, I said, just give me the same stuff I have over here. But maybe it's just being new and hasn't been walked on. It actually feels like carpet, not just a sheet of rubber laid down there.
So it looks better?
It does.
Where's that at?
Hallway.
Right by the office, there's a little hallway that leads us out to the playground.
Oh, okay.
You come in that main door and just keep walking straight ahead.
Oh, okay.
As far as numbers go, at the last board meeting I reported we were at 301 after registration. We're currently at 304. So not much change there. We have gained some students, but we've also lost some students as we've had at least a couple families that have moved out. In fact, I know Sydney called one family new to the district. They didn't show up on Monday, and so she was making calls and figuring some of the people were Eclipse watching or whatever. And the mother said, "Oh, I probably should have called you. We moved over the weekend. We're going to go to Pekin now." Okay. So our net result has been just a small increase, although we did register. We did lose one kindergartner, but we gained 2 other kindergartners. So our kindergarten numbers are strong. Greater Peoria Honor Flight. Familiar with that? Okay. I had a teacher who has become involved with that program and came to me wondering if we could do a fundraiser within the school for the honor flight. They have a program, they call it Nets for Vets, and we do a thing, then they come out and they bring veterans as well as active personnel, and we'll play basketball with the kids. She came up with this whole plan. It's actually Talia Hill, because she's become involved with this, and We were talking about doing a fundraiser the week of September 11th, and then having the vets come back to us on November 10th, which is a half day. We looked at the schedule. It's a half day, but we still run all our PE classes. And so they're on a little shorter thing, but every kid would get a chance then to hang out with the vets and play basketball during their PE class. And then at the end, we'd have a time, because the honor flight does a thing where whatever class raises the most money gets a pizza party. And we thought we would try and up that, and whatever students raise the most money would get to pick a teacher of the teachers that volunteer, put a pie in the face. And the teachers also would have a competition amongst themselves to raise money, and they'd get to hit me with a pie, as well as Mr. Whiston should he choose to volunteer. But he seems like he's good for that.
I'm thinking I could donate to this fundraiser.
My only request, I said I would be happy to, I said, but I want a real pie. I don't want, I don't want whipped cream in a pan, I want a real pie.
Like charity or.
I don't know if I'd go that way.
I'll be wearing a plastic bag, so whatever it
Your face will
is.
be purple.
And we came, that half day I mentioned on November 10th is actually the day before Veterans Day. So we thought it was a great opportunity to get some veterans in the building on that day, and we would have time then at the end to kind of talk to them a little bit and honor them, along with just talking a little bit about Veterans Day.
Okay, how's fundraising gonna, kids aren't going door to door, are they?
No, it's more a donation of change type thing.
Okay.
Yes.
Like the,
Penny tree.
Like the penny trees, yes, or penny
All right.
penny tree?
Yeah, like
Yes.
the penny tree.
okay,
Yes.
I don't see a problem with that.
You can even use my containers.
Me too.
And I was worried about, I didn't want to conflict with anything
camp,
Miss
right,
Patty
right.
does for the community, and she didn't have any issue with that.
Won't affect your can for the drive.
No.
I mean, it's early on in September.
Right, it's early enough that it shouldn't be a
Yeah.
problem.
All right, good.
Camera training, gentleman is coming Thursday. He apologized, he was out of town last week taking care of his dad in Florida, so we couldn't get it done. I didn't want to do it early this week, there's too much going on at the beginning of school. So Thursday at 2:30, he's coming in to make sure I'm all set up and I can see everything on the cameras. I've got a second
They're all
monitor.
installed.
Yes,
Okay.
I've got a second monitor already set up, so
Very good.
I'm just waiting his arrival. We are scheduled to have a power outage for the work they're doing on all the lines around here. I can tell you they came into the office, I think it was like last Tuesday, and said, we need to shut the power off for 4 hours, when would be good? I said, either Saturday or Sunday would work fine. They didn't like that idea, and they're good, they're subcontractors from Ameren, they've got a sense of humor. They said, hey, we're good with the overtime, but we don't think Ameren would approve that. I said, well, okay, how's July? And he said, we go where they tell us. July would have been a lot better, we understand that. So we worked with them. They were supposed to do it Monday after school, but because of the rain couldn't, so it now is going to be tomorrow after school. But it's not going to be until 4 o'clock.
Oh.
All parties involved are aware. Latchkey's already notified their parents. So as long as it doesn't rain tomorrow afternoon, we'll be okay there. As far as the building goes, we've got PBIS training going on this week. Our first round of drills that we do with the students are all scheduled for next week, and appropriate authorities have already been invited, police department, fire department. Sometimes they show up, sometimes they don't. We do them multiple times, and if they don't show up for the first one or the second one, I really harass them to get them there for the third one. But I know both the assistant fire chief and the police chief are aware of our dates, so it's kind of depends on their schedule and what's going on. We also start our color days for kindergarten next week, which is always kind of a fun way to kick off the year, and so it's kindergarten, but we encourage everybody to wear those colors. The last thing I had, and I think got passed out already, was information on the nurse, and the third page in the item was kind of a breakdown on the money, so you had that. My thank you to Mrs. Reagan for setting us up with a very nice lady who I met and talked with, and she knows her stuff.
That was a lifesaver.
Thank you, she was one of my students. No,
She mentioned that. But she's also, I mean, she's got a lot of experience and got a master's in nursing. And
Yes.
she's
Very capable.
We're gonna nurse practitioner.
very capable. She's never worked with a student with exactly this, but she knows a lot about it and has worked with people who have conditions that present similar issues, so.
Okay, your PBIS you mentioned.
Yeah.
Did we get more people involved this year? Because we were down to one person at LaSalle, right?
Oh,
One
no.
instructor, one.
We needed another coach or something.
Yeah.
That is typically our social worker.
Yeah, I see.
That's our outside coach is what it is.
Mhm.
And at this point, we don't have a social worker. We have gotten a couple lines on potential people. Talked to the new, and I apologize, I don't know her name, the new counselor at Parkview. Said something to her about it, and I just talked to her a little bit, and she said, I have somebody I know. I said, great, send them my way. And she said, well, I think she had a baby, and then she's kind of maybe looking. I said, you know what, even if she's part-time and be interested in that.
Absolutely, yes.
And she said, well, I'll talk to her. Now, I haven't seen our counselor since then, but maybe I can put a bug in Mr. Johnson's ear to see if she
Absolutely.
found anything out. So I figured part-time's better than no time.
MAPS testing, when does LaSalle start?
We start after Labor Day.
Not doable. Why, I guess. I'm even questioning the 29th, that Mr. Johnson said they start MAP testing. Why? Why don't we do it right away? Is there a reason? That you know of? I know it's not your.
Well, partially we're on 2 o'clock dismissal, which shortens our days, which shortens all the times. We put in drills every day. We've got PBIS training. It's just, there's only so many hours in the day, and we like the students to get back and get a little acclimated before we do it.
Okay, but I was talking to a teacher in another district, and it was the 2nd or 3rd day of school. She had already had someone come in and test her children. Now, it wasn't MAP testing. She had tested them. She said, I have to know what they know in order to teach them. So I'm thinking every day that goes by, we're that further behind. And with these test scores, I think we better start looking at everything. So I'm just wondering why. I mean, maybe is it Title I teachers, or is that who tests, or?
Reading teachers.
Reading teachers, okay. Maybe they have a reason that you wouldn't know about, but.
What were y'all doing today? You had 4
We're,
people.
that's what I was gonna say, we're testing first grade right now in the reading, in the Prenzel or whatever that thing is, the
Right.
reading series, so we're testing their vocab and their reading levels right
Okay.
now in
That's
first grade.
kindergarten.
First grade.
First grade.
First grade, okay.
And then they also start Ames web testing and MAP testing. So, I mean, there's 3 different tests we got going on in my building.
Okay, so we start Ames Web sooner?
I believe they're gonna start Ames web next week. Well, they're doing Fontes and Pinnell right now for first grade. And
We
MAP
got all the
testing is,
vocab done for first grade today, and so now we're working on the reading level. And that takes a little bit longer because it increases as, if they miss so many down at the first level, then you stop. But if they get it all, then you go to the next level. So that can take some time. So that's what we're doing right now.
Fontes and
But you have to also understand at the same time, we're doing bus tabs, there's a lot of things going on in the day.
Fontes and Pinnell and Ames web are both one-on-one. So she's working with one student. You're only getting 4 students at a time, as opposed to MAP testing, where you can test mobile classrooms at the
I
same
was just
time.
gonna say, did we get new laptops or something like tablets or, so can we start the MAPS test first and get them all done easily? Because it's not a one-on-one, it's just going to the computer, taking the test.
Maybe a different grade level.
Right, I mean, instead of like just one-on-one and get.
I'm not calling you out, Nick.
No,
I mean,
I
it's
mean,
not
I'm just-
you. It's
yeah.
just that I keep saying we have the fewest children we've ever had and the most personnel in the district. So I'm wondering, why aren't we on this? Just, that goes to everybody.
I will push.
Thank you.
get it done sooner, get it started sooner.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else?
Anybody have any questions? I think I asked all
No,
mine.
but thank you for getting all the Eclipse classes too for the students. That was
Thank you very
awesome.
much.
I don't know if you told
Did
them
you
the
guys know that
story.
whole story?
No,
It's good.
I don't know, somebody suggested it to me, and I went to Mr. Wisson, he said, yeah, this would be great, and I got on Amazon and, and, I can't remember, Shelley would know it, but, we probably, for 700 pairs of glasses, spent, $250 or something. And then, 2 weeks ago, Amazon comes out and they say, oh, we're refunding money because these companies haven't proven to us that the supply, that.
yeah.
Well, all right, so I panicked a little bit. And then I was like, well, okay, we'll wait and see. That was over the weekend. Last Monday, I come into work, and a little while later, I get 2 emails from Shelley forwarded from Amazon. You're refunded your money because the company never provided proof that the glasses were good. I'm like, oh my God. I get back on Amazon, I'm like, okay, where, bulk solar eclipse glasses, sure, best I can do. 500 of them, $1,700. I'm like, oh, that's not gonna fly. I'm like, what do we do here, We're gonna go back and put the hole in the paper and shine it through, and that's but what I did in 4th grade, But I'm talking to Mrs. McClister and Mrs. Ozakarski. They're like, well, they say if it's got a number on there, so they get on the NASA website and they're checking it out and they're reading it and it says if it's got this number, and they read the number, yeah, it's got that number. And then they read further on the NASA website and it says, but some unscrupulous companies will just go ahead and put that number on there. I'm like, oh, great. But here's a list of approved vendors that we know are good. Ours was number 1 on the list.
Very good.
So we got glasses for free.
Sweet.
Because Amazon refunded us. So kind of a fun story, a little bit of panic in there, but not too bad.
Very good.
I sang Fair too.
All right. Anything else, Mr. Liston?
I'd like to add one thing. Steve Johnson has asked me to come down on Wednesday and Friday of this week. We're going to be talking to all the students if we can get them in, hopefully in those 2 days. If not, we'll have to extend it to next week. But we'll be talking to the students. We'll talk Park Test Act. Good subject to talk about. Probably not too excited about it, but we can be pumped up about Park Test and see if we can get them pumped up. And what else? That's that.
All right.
Harvey was good. The speaker was good. Motivational. Had a really tough background. Came from, if we want to complain about our kids and where they come from, inner city Chicago, he'll have some stories that will blow you out of the water. But he's done well. He played with Kurt Warner in the professional, in the whatever, Barnstormers, whatever they were called. He also played for the Bears, played for the Colts, and actually this was only the 2nd time he spoke to teachers or adults. He always spoke to students. But his message, I thought, was real good. He said, plant a seed. You teachers have a chance to plant a seed. And a couple of his teachers and coaches had planted a seed that he could do good. Believe me, he had a lot to go through. So I think our teachers, what he said was, I think one thing, we have proud, positive, productive. One of his sayings was, be proud or be quiet. So I know on the bulletin board at Steve's building, in the gym, be proud or be quiet. So we don't want to hear the negative. That's a little tough to be quiet, but
Sometimes it is. All right, committee reports. Building and grounds,
I think we're plugging away and we haven't even had a meeting.
but we are getting there,
We're getting there.
and we've got the 10-year life safety report that we're gonna start checking things off, right?
And I did want to say one thing. Toby is going to be on vacation September 5th through September 12th, 1 full week. So if something breaks, we'll have to have someone come in besides Toby and fix it. But Toby will be off for a week.
Any policy?
You want another stack? No, I'm kidding. There is another packet, the most recent one. I want to combine it with the other. I want to combine it with the next one because the next packet has like 8 policies
Okay, then get them to us, and we'll do that.
and then 5-year review.
We are not caught up yet.
So I just wanna get them all done, if we have to stay all night. I just wanna get them done.
All right, technology.
Nothing that I know of.
I walked into the computer lab, or whatever the little room's called, and they had 24 of those teacher iPods, laptops, whatever, laptops. They had 24 of them lined up, getting them out. And he said the next day, I think it was Friday, they would have them out to teachers.
Oh, the new ones, okay.
Great.
So got them out, got them rolling. Jay's group did well. I think the laptop, my Apple that was in my office, that they switched out, I got moved to Mick's office because I think he needed a screen for his
Monitor.
monitor. So,
All right, parent-teacher advisory, remind me, I need to check with you on something on that. Food service.
we did meet.
Yeah.
And we were
I don't
supposed to
remember
be-
when we met, but we met.
It was very
16th.
interesting though.
16th, I think, wasn't it?
Mhm.
Day before we started with teachers. And actually, I looked at that day, we were supposed to get that typed up and
Mm-hmm.
so that's, we'll have that for the next week.
And Mrs. Tyler went to school yesterday,
First day,
first day?
Yeah,
Thursday.
Okay.
Then the
Tell
eclipse.
about that? No,
Yeah, it was
lunch.
the same day when I went during lunch to see how it went, which I went to Parkview and they did a new process with getting the kids through there, which I thought worked pretty good. Now, there's a few quirks that they have to work out on getting that set up, but it went good. I know that there was a few questions that I had, but they have to scoop out ketchup in the little containers.
We used to hand out packets.
They have mustard packets, but not ketchup, so they had to
We
scoop
say
those
scoop.
out. Yeah, they have a big can and then they scoop it out and fill in, like, all these individual cups. And they have the sub sandwiches, which I don't know how many kids use ketchup for that, but I'm sure they had to throw quite a bit of that away.
Good catch.
It just seems messy.
I know, I like-
We just have condiments out, and if they want mustard or ketchup, take it.
Yeah,
I think you can only have so many packets.
Oh.
well, the mustard was out,
Regulations.
The
and
mustard was
the
out.
ranch was
Was?
out, so they
Oh.
could grab that.
Ranch was for the carrots.
Okay,
Yeah, ranch was for the carrots.
Then maybe they can do ketchup now.
Is it cheaper to buy it like that? Is that why they're doing it?
I feel like they
I mean,
throw
it
more
feels like
away.
they're throwing more
Yeah,
away, is
Because
it?
the packets you can
That's
just
true.
take
It's not
back
cheaper,
in.
is it?
No.
True.
Yeah, I don't know. Ooh, I have a quick, did we get that letter yet?
Yes,
Yes?
It was an
Okay.
email.
an email.
Yeah, an
It's an
email.
email.
I must have.
Yesterday.
Oh, yeah, okay,
It was
that's
just
why I didn't look at the
recent.
email yesterday. Okay.
Is that it? Okay, are there any visitors wishing to address the board? Need a motion? Mrs. Reagan?
Make motion to enter an executive session for student matters, employment, employment compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body, collective bargaining matters between the public body and the exclusive representatives of the certified employees, and review of executive session minutes from a regular meeting held July 18, 2017 at 8:07.
Second.
Giddens.
Aye.
Gagel. Captain Reagan.
Aye.
Val Reagan.
Aye.
Tyler.
Aye.
Griner.
Aye.
Bailey.
Aye, motion carries.